Hi, good morning. Okay, so I will start this out by being fully transparent and sharing that I have not watched, Aubrey Marcus's podcast on polyamory / I think he's calling it radical monogamy. And yet I've heard bits and pieces of it just because, I've listened to other people's podcasts analyzing it. And one of the things that I've recognized in listening to other people analyzing it is, thanks for that mirror for me. I think in our judgment and in our righteousness, we oftentimes miss the subtle lessons that exist behind the details that we can judge as good or bad. And so what I want to do today is just share from my personal perspective my ideas about this. So I also want to start out too by saying that for me, the fact that he calls it, and I listened to a little clip where, Aubrey Marcus is calling his polyamorous lifestyle radical monogamy. And right when I heard that, I was like, just stop talking. That's ridiculous. And I love the trigger because, my hair keeps getting in my face. I love the trigger because I know that there's something for me in that. At the end of the day, it's not radical monogamy. It's polyamory, monogamy, mono is one. And so, I think that for me, that was a mirror going, okay, where am I gaslighting myself? Where am I allowing myself to be gaslit by society? And just, bringing awareness to the things within me and the lessons that I need to learn and take away from it. Okay, so I called this Aubrey Marcus is a mirror because he is. I think it's really important, especially right now, as individuals, as sovereign divine beings, that we go within and define what is right for ourselves. And recognizing that what is right for you, what is right for me, might not be aligned with other people. And what is right for you or right for me, it doesn't have to be aligned for anybody else. That's what we are as sovereign divine beings. Now, I think where we can run into trouble is when we don't have divine union within, when we don't have a strong masculine container within to own and protect what is right for ourselves. Okay, so let's see. Define what's right for you. This comes from a knowing of yourself and what you truly desire. And knowing that what's right for you is right, but only for you. It's alignment. So maybe even taking the word right out of it, because I think that's inherently judgmental, but aligned. So 2, when something is aligned for you, be radically honest about it. Now, this is where the Aubrey Marcus calling it radical monogamy really bugs me. I was thinking, is he softening that for himself because he's not fully okay with polyamory? Is he softening it for the women in his life because one, both, all, I don't know how many there are, but because they're not okay with it? Is he softening it for society because society isn't accepting polyamory? I don't know. But to me, that whole radical monogamy, why are you calling it monogamy? It's not. And it's okay that it isn't, as long as everybody who is choosing to partake in it is on the same page. Radical honesty, maybe? I don't know. Radical transparency, but not radical monogamy. So 3, and this is a huge one for me. because I don't know about you, but I've been going outward. I've shared that I'm not in my best place right now. I'm working through a lot of life changes, and I recently was divorced after 22 years of marriage, 26 years together. And so I do feel like I am an unanchored, untethered boat in the middle of a storm, and I'm just kind of riding the waves and all over the place. And that's on me. Not blaming anyone, including myself. This is my process and I'm learning from it. But I think it is, and I'm speaking to myself, reminding myself that I need to do this too. Going within and truly knowing yourself is more and more important every day. We can look outside of ourselves, and yet in doing that, we're giving our power away. So when you are anchored, when you are in your knowing of what is aligned for you without projecting that onto other people and making other people wrong, it feels better. So be in your knowing, go within daily. Do not look for answers outside of yourself. For me, Aubrey's polyamory shows that he is not a strong masculine container. He can't even control his own urges, and he can't call it what it is. And I'm not faulting him for that. It's just that in my definition of what is a divine masculine, he is not it. Now, I'm not claiming that I know the definition for divine masculine, because I don't. But for me personally, he is not a safe container. He can't contain himself, and he certainly wouldn't be able to contain, I think he's going to run into this too, great lesson for him, but female emotions. Anyway, that's kind of getting off topic. So I'm not discrediting him either, just stating that from my ideas about what is divine masculine, Aubrey isn't it. To another woman, however, he could very well be perceived that way. Am I right? I am right for me. And again, it's important, I think, to recognize that right for me, it's just honoring alignment. You know yourself, you know what is right for you, and you honor that. And then number 4, I think, is the most important piece, because I think what I've seen in different podcasts, analyzing his podcast on polyamory, is people, examining whether or not he should or shouldn't be using his platform to influence others. He has a wide reach. And to me, just what we're seeing in the world, yes, use your platform however you want to use your platform, because let's bring it all to light. Let's bring it all out in the open. Let's get rid of our shame. Let's, and again, I'm going to go back to that, calling it radical monogamy. There has to be shame somewhere in that. And I don't know how many there are. I think there's 3. So somewhere in that trinamic, there is, there's got to be some form of shame, because why are you calling it radical monogamy when it isn't? Just call it radical honesty or radical ownership, radical alignment, whatever, but not radical monogamy. That's that smoke and mirrors thing. And I think that, I think it is important not to silence anybody. You could talk to me all day long about what is aligned for you and what is right for you. And yet you'll never ever convince me that what is right for you is right. And I can fairly say that, a few years back when everyone was getting the V and everyone was encouraging me to get it, I'm like, I don't think I really need it. It's not for me. Don't need it. I eat healthy. I take good care of myself. I rest. I take, vitamins. I have whole food diet. I'm like, I don't need that. And I didn't do it. So I don't know. I think it's important that people can use their voice because it's all divine at the end of the day. It's all divine. And I'm so thankful that he used the the title radical monogamy because it was super triggering for me as someone who's never been in a monogamous relationship, and not because I'm not monogamous, but rather because the person I'm with is not monogamous. And in hindsight, and I shared this with my ex-husband, I don't need somebody to be a monogamous person. That's not what I'm asking for. I need to be in partnership with somebody who is monogamous because that's what I want. That is aligned for me. The issue that I've had with partners is the fact that they can't be honest with themselves or with me. And that's the piece that I'm like, that does not fly. And that's triggering for me. Okay. So I love that he calls it that, because I wrote, let him call it radical monogamy, as it is such an in-our-face illustration of the smoke and mirrors culture we have created. Let him be so we can learn. Let everyone be so we can expand. Now, if I was really good at this, I wouldn't always get so triggered with my ex-husband. I have my ideas about what makes a good father. Who am I to determine what makes a good anything? I'm nobody. So rather than judging his way, accept it and recognize that, okay, that's not how I would do things, but it also doesn't make it wrong. It doesn't make it bad. It is divine. There has to be lessons for me, for our boys, and for my ex. So just let it be. Anyway, this is getting too long. I hope you got something out of this, and I hope you're having a nice Memorial Day weekend. Take care.